It's Lisa with Fun Stuff Crafts, back again with you today for another Inspiration Friday. I'm so glad you stopped by to join me. So today what we're going to be working on is an etching project. So we are going to be etching on this pie plate. I'm going to move a little bit closer so maybe you can see it a little bit better, but it says made with love. This technique that I'm going to show you today could work on any type of glass. So think about vases that you can pick up at the dollar store, a glass plate that you could pick up at the dollar store. By doing this etching, you are adding a personal touch, and it just shows that creativity that you've got. So give me a few minutes to get my camera angle changed, and we are going to get making. So the very first thing we're going to do to start our Inspiration Friday project is launch Design Space, and we need to create the design that we're going to use on the plate. So to start out with, we are going to go to New Project, and once I'm in New Project, I am going to go to Images, and then I had found an image earlier, so let's see if I can find it. And it is a cute one that says made with love. And let's see, there it is right there. So this is the image that I want to use. Now, keep in mind, we're going to do this as etched on a plate. So you want to take into account the size of your plate. Now, I'm going to put this on the center of the plate. And so I have already pre-measured my center of my plate is 5 inches by 5 inches. So to make this work as an etch, we need to add in an image, and we're going to add in an image of a circle, and we are going to make that circle be 5 inches by 5 inches. Okay? Now what we need to do is we need to bring our image over, and you can see right there it's going in the back. So if I click up here on Arrange and I put Move to the Front, I can see what my image would look like. Now, I want to make sure I leave enough space around the image so that when I'm using my etching cream, I don't take any chance of it going out into the rest of the plate. But I think I could pick up this design to be just a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my Shift key, and I'm going to hit both of the items. Excuse me. I'm going to grab both the items this way, and I'm going to go to Align, and I want to make sure that is directly in the center. So see what I did? I grabbed them, I went up to Align, and I put Center. Okay? So now this is the trick to make this be a template for your etching. I'm grabbing both my items. See how I'm doing a box around them? And then I am going down here to the bottom, and I'm going to grab the slice feature. Okay? So I'm going to slice it. And basically what that's doing is it's slicing the made with love out of the circle. And then I can get rid of these two items. Okay? And now what we're left with is a circle with the made with love in the middle. And we are going to go to our Cricut, and we're going to cut out this logo, and then we're going to weed it. So we'll move on to the next step, which would be I'm going to make it. Now, I'm going to put this etching directly on the front of my plate, because since it's etched, I don't have to worry about food touching it or anything. If you wanted to etch on the back side, you could definitely do that also. Sometimes you want to take into account you may need to do a mirror image. But we are not doing a mirror image today because we are actually doing etching. Okay, so all I would do is, and if you did need to do a mirror image, this is where you would turn that on out. Okay, so next I'm just going to hit continue, and it is looking for my maker right now. And give me 1 second because I don't have it turned on and it is not going to find it. Minor details here. It's always a good idea, and sometimes I forget, to turn your machine on first. And now what's happening is it is just coming up and saying, okay, what type of material are you going to cut with this with? And we're just going to cut it with basic vinyl material. It's telling us that nothing needs to go into clamp A. Clamp B is where our fine point knife blade is going to be. And right now my maker is flashing the load button. So we're going to go ahead and load the machine, and then I'll be right back with our cut out decal and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now we have our decal, and I like to take my burnishing tool, I call it, and just really adhere that vinyl. It just makes it a little bit easier when I'm going to start doing my weeding. Now, I am using my handy dandy pin pen that on numerous videos and blog posts, I always comment about this weeding tool that I got from 651 Vinyl. So remember, this is a reverse weed that we need to do because we are doing the etching. So I am pulling out the Made with Love from the circle that we put. So the love came out really easy because it's all one word, and it takes me just a little bit longer here to get the made with because it's each one is an individual letter. But you just really want to make sure that you weed out the words or weed out the design, and then once you've got that all taken care of, we are going to add on some transfer tape. Okay, now that we've got our weeding all done, and it's kind of hard for you to see that, but it is Made with Love. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to put some transfer paper on. Now I've already used this piece of transfer paper tape because I like to reuse whatever I can. So we're going to go ahead and add that right on here. And it's really important that you get it adhered very well. So go ahead and pull that back off. Oops. There we go. And all you have to do is work that. So now we've got it on our transfer tape. Okay. So now we're going to take our pie plate. I originally started out with a plate, but I had to switch to a pie plate because I etched a plate and I forgot to turn my video on. So we're going to change this to a pie plate. So here we go. I'm going to put this right down, and I'm just going to eyeball it right in the center. If you want to be precise, you can definitely measure this all out. Okay, so we're just going to make sure that's all down. I'm going to pull it up, and sometimes I like to use my tool here, and sometimes if you just press against it, it's kind of hard to see that on the video, I think, but if you press against it, everything else stays down and you have a nice transfer. Okay, so as in, I've explained this before in etching, the most important thing to do is to make sure you have no bubbles or no air pockets around any of your lettering. Don't want any of our etching cream to sneak through. And this one actually looks like a good transfer. Now, it's probably hard for you guys to see, but I do have some bubble pockets up here, and that's fine. We're not going to worry about that. And remember when we made the design on Design Space, I wanted to leave enough of a border around so that I didn't want any of my etching cream to go out here. Because if any etching cream touches there, it is definitely going to make an impact. Okay, so now what I like to do is I like to pour my etching cream into a cup. It's just easier to get in there with my paintbrush. And literally all we're going to do right now is we are going to glob that on. I always say this looks like a butterscotch pudding. And I do recommend that you use gloves when you're using etching cream. I just happen to be out of them right now, but it's always a good idea. It is a chemical, that's for sure. Apologize if you can hear dogs in the background. They like to bark at any little thing. So what we're going to do now, excuse me, is we are going to set our timer for 15 minutes. And as soon as that 15 minutes is up, we're going to be back here and we're going to remove our etching cream. And remember, etching cream is reusable. So I'm literally going to remove it from here and I'm going to put it right back in my jar. So we're going to wait about 15 minutes here, and our next step will be to remove the etching cream. Okay, so our 15 minutes are up and we are going to start removing the Etchall, and we're just going to put it right back in the jar. Now you can put it back into the little cup we were using, or I'm just going to save a step and put it right back in the jar. Now I've had this large jar of Etchall for over a year and I keep reusing it. So I have not purchased another a bottle of it, and it is working great. So I really encourage you to reuse it. I'm just going to get as much off. Now normally I would take this to the sink and rinse it off, but since I want to show you everything on the video, I am actually going to use a paper towel and wipe some of this off. So I've got my paper towel and I'm just going to make sure that I get it all wiped off, making sure nothing's going onto the glass. And do not touch that Etchall. Now I'm going to throw a little bit of Windex on it really quick, just to make sure that I've got everything out. Definitely I'm going to do Windex after I'm done. And now I'm going to use my handy dandy little pin pen. Love my pin pen. To get it started. And then this is where I always say the magic happens whenever we're etching. It is so fun to see. And this is also where you're going to see that we got nice clean edges. Remember I had made the comment that you don't want any bubbles. If we had any bubbles in our vinyl, the etching cream would definitely come through. So I have got these last little pieces, and then what I like to do is take a little bit of Windex and I'm going to clean it. It looks like it's not there right now, but just wait. And I'm hoping that you can see that that now says made with love. I'm so glad you joined me here on another Inspiration Friday to make this cute pie plate. These make great gifts. Thinking of shower gifts or birthday gifts, it gives that personal touch. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up below and subscribe to my channel. And remember, my goal is to inspire you to want to create. Thanks so much for joining me at Fun Stuff Crafts for another Inspiration Friday.